green coffee importer, and that's your biggest focus.
Yeah.
Any other coffee experience you had?
Yeah, I mean, done everything in coffee there is to do. So I started when I was like 16 years old. I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to start roasting and being a barista, which is a great learning experience because we were kind of free to do whatever. This is like mid to late 90s. So I remember when we first got a hand tamper at the cafe, that was a big deal. Or getting David Schilmer's espresso book in 1996. I still have it.
Right.
That was a game changer. The only way you could get information was to talk to people, magazines or whatnot, but coffee was so obscure at the time. So I still remember to get that book, that was such a huge deal, game changer for me, and I realized maybe there was a career path here. Yeah, so then things evolved, and then I was roasting for a long time, graduated university. Coffee roasting is not a real job. So I quit 3 months. I really missed it. But I worked in another industry for 5 months, and then I was missing coffee too much, and I had a lot of experience. So I thought, maybe there's another opportunity in Calgary that I can look for. So I went to work for a company. They were doing wholesale programs for businesses and hotels and restaurants. So I started in that company, worked in many roles, a lot of coffee-related stuff, a lot of non-coffee-related stuff, a lot of management and HR, and did a lot of sales. After doing that for another decade, I was kind of like, okay, well, all I want to do is coffee stuff all day long. I'm not really interested in doing the rest of it. Not that it was bad, it's just you do it for 10 years, it's time for a change. So
yeah,
what can I focus on that's coffee related? And what was the most interesting thing to me that I hadn't done was trying to source and sell. And I came at it from a perspective, not just so that I could travel and meet farmers, but I wanted to drink really interesting coffees. And then just start pulling the string. Right? So you want to drink interesting coffees. Where do they come from? Who's producing them? How do you get access to those coffees? And I always wondered, how can I buy coffees that I really love to drink? And where does that come from? How do you get access to that? How can I work for a company. We could buy that. How do we buy that? And there was just no easy path forward. So it always kind of stuck in my mind that could be an opportunity. I want to sell the coffees that I want to sell.
Yeah.
So I started my own.
Yeah. Even I tried to figure out. I was like, this is the huge part. So if I do coffee roasting cafe and doing the green coffee at the same time, then it's like I cannot do everything. So yeah, finding a green coffee importing that process was really
Yeah, and it's challenging because for me, it was really hard at the beginning to not just buy coffees that I liked. Because no matter what you do, unconsciously you always choose certain types of coffees. So you get 10 or 12 coffees, they all taste the same. It's not a great portfolio to sell to people. So we had to learn how to pick the ones that you like, obviously, that you're passionate about selling, but also what does the market want? It's a particular skill, and I try to focus on the responsibility that I have to the people that we work with. Because if I find a farm that we're buying from, times are good, we want to buy their coffee. When times are bad, we still have to buy their coffee. That's how I feel. So for me, it's like a big responsibility. So during the pandemic, with unknown demands, we still have to stand by our farmers as much as we can.
And about the green buyer, the job and role, people have their imaginary role. It is really romantic job. You travel, taste coffees and pick what you like.
Yeah.
How that is different to the realistic coffee buyers.
Everyone thinks it's like Indiana Jones, in the movie, and he gets in a plane and it's like the little red dot and flying city to city and you're going all these exotic places. It kind of is like that. But at the end of the day, you're there to do business. So if you're going to be good at doing business, you have to understand what are you buying. Don't waste people's time. So the best buyers that I've run into on the trail, they know exactly what they're looking for. They're very direct, firm. They're not confused about what they want, and they just do a quick deal, and then they move on to the next thing. The best buyers are the ones that don't get sidetracked. It can be challenging because you're getting on a plane, you're flying 25 or 30 hours to a place. The 12-hour time change, land expected to make like $250,000 of decisions on 2 hours sleep in the past 2 days. That's tough.
Yeah, it sounds very tough.
Yeah, and it's challenging for sure. But it's also really rewarding as well, especially when you find something that's great and somebody else gets super excited about it and you're just sitting in that farmer's kitchen chatting with them. That can be really exciting.
In my understanding, green buying and importing, there are so many steps, like unexpected happenings between that process. Do you have the worst situation you faced, the most frustrated moments?
Yeah, frustrating moments. You're like when you're shipping to the western ports in Canada, especially. The ship stops a lot of places. It's stopping, so I'm constantly. You can track these things to the minute. So I'm constantly checking, is this on time? When they arrive, there's a lot of things out of your control at that point. It's not a comfortable position to be in. But that can be super stressful. Also, the sales cycle, too, for us, we're selecting coffees months before we're going to be selling them. So, what does the Canadian coffee market want in like February 2022? That's kind of what we're looking at right now when we're doing some Columbia purchases. So what's it going to look like in 2022? Who knows?
Yeah. Coffee is seasonal product and it is flavor related. It's not just like for example, make a laptop and sell. That is more predictable in terms of demand, user. But coffee is not like that.
Coffee, especially specialty coffee, is not in a warehouse on a shelf. You just pick it, put it in a bag, and ship it out to someone. You have to back up. It takes a year of organization to make sure you're going to get enough of that product. And that can be really tough, but it's also part of the challenge too. That's why I like it. But one of the things that I wanted to do with this company is always have good coffees on the spot list. Spot list is just what's available currently. I don't want to become a company you have to know me or talk to me 6 months before just to make sure you get access to certain coffees. It's not really my goal. I don't want to be exclusive like a club. I want to have always good coffees available for people always. I think it's just more meaningful that way.